Rockridge NCPC and the Rockridge Community Planning Council.
Louder.
Louder! Welcome to the, I'm not used to such a large crowd. Those of you who come to the NCPC meetings know it's a very intimate group. But, so this is our annual joint meeting of the NCPC and the RCPC. People get us confused, so we have a meeting once a year so they can figure this out. Anyway, so I'm Mike Bell. I'm chair of the Greater Rockridge NCPC. Do we want to go around the room and introduce everyone, or we'll just do it? You can. The first order of business is for the community resource officers for the Rockridge area to present their information. So if you folks want to do that in any order, introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Officer Christine Jurgens. I'm the B13 CRO.
My name is David Mackay. I'm the CRO for Beats 12. So I have statistics for the last 60 days, which is April 20th to June 18th, compared to the last 60 days, same time frame last year. For the last 60 days, we had 0 carjackings, 8 robberies, 5 residential burglaries, 1 commercial burglary, and 24 auto burglaries. Compared to last year, carjackings remained the same at 0. Robberies went up. There were 3 last year compared to 8 this year. 5 residential burglaries compared to 2 last year. 2 commercial burglaries last year compared to 1 this year. Auto burglaries went down by 10. Reported auto burglaries. There were 34 last year. There were 24 this year.
So B13 wasn't as busy, but for residential burglaries, there was only 1 in the last 60 days, and there was 3 last year, the same time frame. And then there was 5 auto burglaries compared to 3 last year. There's no robberies, no commercial burglaries, and no carjacking. Oh, I have a B13.
Could I have a copy of your stats? The Mac has already given me his.
It should be on the same
Oh,
one.
it's on the same one.
It's on the back of the page.
Oh, it's on the back of the page.
Yeah, he made it double-sided.
You are so right. That will keep me a page down and see what's in there.
So does anyone have any specific questions for us? Yes, sir.
Do you have a sense of how that compares to the city overall?
City overall, as far as what?
Just, I guess, in general crime.
As far as
It sounds like in B12 it went up a little bit, in B13 it was pretty much nothing.
Yeah, B13 is usually not as busy.
Right.
It's more residential, but
So for property crime, or there's more property crime in the more commercial areas, where people usually frequent for, let's say, dinner or if they want to go out. Violent crime is usually a little where people usually, I want to say it's where more the gang affiliate members live. So it depends on where you're looking at and what you're trying to compare.
So, hi, my name is Lieutenant Dan Royal. I'm actually in charge of your special resource officers and supervisor. The question about stats, right now, violent crime in the city of Oakland's gone up a little bit this year. We've had a few more homicides than we did last year. But compared to a 5-year average, we're way below where we were 5 years ago. We've had a little bit of a spike because we did have a little bit of a war going on, and we're trying to stay on top of that as we speak. Auto burglaries are up in the city of Oakland. They've climbed, but I think a lot of that is we've really pushed our community resource officers to push for folks to make the reports, because that's how we get different deployments. So we see, like right now, the biggest peak periods of time for auto burgs is between 7 and 9 a.m. and 2 and 5 p.m., and that's usually why, because everybody's either getting their cup of coffee or stopping somewhere real quick. They're leaving their stuff in the car. People drive by with a scanning device that says what electronics you have, and then they get your car. That helps us deploy. So just to let you know, for the last 6 months, we've been running an robbery, auto burglary operation throughout the area. In fact, we were just up here a little while ago. I know somebody was asking if they were going to be here. They were, but we just finished wrapping up in here. We have arrested some crews that have been wanted throughout the Bay Area after we have actually observed them committing either a strong-arm robbery and or an auto burglary. We've now made it very public that we are doing these operations. So I know a lot of times they're saying that you're not seeing us, but we are there, just like we were up in Montclair earlier. I know we just missed one up on Montclair literally about an hour ago, but that's because we were leaving to come reset within the two areas. We also know about the BART, and we've been working with BART, so BART is on board with us. I know those are a lot of the concerns. As far as the Montclair, we've been begging. Christine's been doing a wonderful job really trying to get Safeway to get video cameras in there, especially on the upper level. That's where I know they're hit quite often. I was just telling a nice lady here, literally I went to a bike rodeo. We parked our cars. We started at the end of the bank, so anyone that lives on Montclair knows that from about the end of that bank where the park is to where the school is, that one street. Every car that I walked by had at least $1,000 or more items sitting in plain view, either on the right front passenger seat or right in the back seat.
Oh, my.
So again, that's just saying, please come hit me. And again, these crews come. This is how they support buying their guns. Some of the obstacles we are running into is a lot of times we're on viewing these things and victims don't want to prosecute. I understand that, but victims don't quite understand that most of the ones doing them are an organized crime. This is how they purchase their guns, and this is how they go do their violence. They're not just doing them in the city of Oakland, they're doing them throughout the state of California. One such individual we just arrested was wanted out of numerous counties for the same thing. So this is how they travel, this is how they purchase their guns. So please continue to report, but please also don't be afraid to want to prosecute, because it really helps get us to get them services to stop, because it's not all about incarceration anymore. We do offer service programs to try to break them. Every time we arrest an individual, we sit and give them what's called a custom notification through our ceasefire programs. We're trying to give them services to stop their lifestyle, change their lifestyle, and move on to a more productive life in society than just going to jail. So please don't think that, hey, I'm getting involved and I'm sending them to jail. No, a lot of times we're trying to break that habit. Burglaries are not considered a violent crime, therefore they're not really considered at a high level anymore in the state of California under Prop 47. So that's why we're really trying to work these services to, change their behaviors. They are starting at the age of 12. The last group was, what, 12, 13, and 14 the other night, 2 nights ago? So same thing, and the cars they were hitting were right across from where the chief lived. So they're starting off very young. So please, let's, if you can help us on that. Yes, sir.
Regarding people pressing charges, if you learned why people don't, and one thing that comes to mind is, are people concerned that they're going to have to go to court and be identified by their address and stuff like that?
A lot of people that lately, especially for like the strong arm robberies, the ones that are getting their laptops snatched at the coffee shops, literally, was that 2 days ago when we stopped the one probably right up there at College, right at the Safeway? That's how people weren't even watching, but a black Mercedes pulled up. 2 individuals got out, were getting ready to do the laptop, saw us, and then finally got in their car and fled before we caught them doing it. But when it happens and we do catch them, a lot of people say, well, they feel sorry for the individual and feel that they just need the money, so they don't want to press the charges. I hear that quite often. I don't really hear the part about going to court or anything like that. Yes, sir.
Is there a way to protect against these scanners that they use to locate electronics?
No, because as soon as you're going to find one, the only thing that you can really do is try to power everything off, but some of your stuff still has a low power grade on them. There's not like, unless you remove the battery, there's not really all the way. And again, the younger ones, they're not even doing that. They're just looking in cars, and if they see even a diaper bag, anything they think might be of value, they hit the car.
And that means what, smash a window or something if they don't have some high tech?
Usually they have their little bit tool and they just smash the window real quick, reach in and out. 9 times out of 10 it's the smashed window. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think Prop 47 is contributing to this situation? The rash of car burglaries, that people know that there's not much recourse, response?
I don't know if that's the full contributor. Right now it's a quick, easy way to get money. It really is. Juveniles in general, they can commit a robbery and they don't get much time. So that's why these juveniles are used by these gangs, and they go have them do a lot of the robberies or the burglaries to supply, because they know they don't get much time. In fact, a certain group of individuals that just got arrested again now that they've moved and turned 18 and turned into shooters, When I was in robbery, they would come in and laugh, and they'd go, hurry up, man. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I robbed all those people. Give me my 72 hours and I'm back out. So, again, there's a lot of programs that are changing. There's a lot of things that they're trying to restructure. So there are some very good things with this prop court system, but it's just taking time. So and again, we're only talking a very small percentage of folks. We're not talking hundreds of thousands of people. We're talking, like groups of 30 to 50 throughout Bay Area, if that kind of helps.
You're talking about the perpetrators?
Yes. And it's the same, and you'll start seeing it's a pattern. It's a lot of the same individuals, and the groups keep getting smaller and smaller. If that kind of answered. Any other?
What's response time like these days, police, if you house burglary, something like that? Is it worth calling, or is it just something you report later and hope that it contributes?
So there's a difference. There's an in progress versus already occurred. In progress, yeah, your response time is going to be a lot quicker. If you call and say, hey, my house is getting broken into, oh yeah, that's an automatic priority one, so response time is supposed to be, I know there are some nights, like our averages, which hurts. Like the other night when Hayward came into our city and had an officer-involved shooting, that tied up all of our resources, so then you could have response times of 9, 10, 11 minutes, because you're having officers, like, I won't lie, during that day watch, I had about 15 spread out against the whole city until that could get situated. So, you may have an officer come all the way from 73rd Ave to get way up on Snake or something, that's going to take about 20 minutes. So, but we try to make it within 3 to 5. We try to leave the beat officers up on the beats, because we know they have the longest response time to some of those, and that way they're already up there. Yes, sir.
Well, I must say, auto burglary is a concern on my street over the last 6 months. I guess the takeaway is we should always report it. That's useful information, if nothing else, even if it doesn't lead to a solution immediately. The other thing, what were the numbers in this area for auto burglary?
For the last 60 days, it was 24.
24, okay, and that's including the whole...
This is for the Rockridge area.
Yeah, okay.
I might add, 24 in the last 60 days is down considerably from what it was earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
About 6 months ago, it was extremely high. We weren't publicizing the fact that we were doing these undercover operations. But we have put it out throughout the press, social media, and we continue even letting the kids know that we are running these. BART has already publicized theirs. So I don't know if that's helping curtail it or arresting some of these crews, and actually they have charged them felony as help. But we have been seeing a small, steady decline in them. And trust me, we are well aware that the areas and the reporting, although they're giving you certain stats as commanders, we get exact time frames. So we can see exactly where the peak days, times, and hours, and that really helps us send our resources, not just our specialized.
That in itself is a reason for everyone to report.
Yes, please,
yes.
And all the major crimes, yes.
Right, if we stop reporting crimes, we're going to send these folks to where there are crimes, because we are crime-free. They have no other information.
Yes. Real quick, do those numbers include anything that happens in the BART parking lot, or is that under BART jurisdiction and not included in 12Y?
We actually take quite a few of the BART ones, but some could be missing in BART, yes. But we do work with BART, and we do get info, so we share a lot of information.
So before we finish this segment, I wanted to review the priorities we had from the last, and see where they are. In 12, there was a transient living in a van on North Street.
Could you stand up, please?
I'm sorry.
Oh, buddy.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Sorry, I'm not a public speaker. So we have priorities from our last NCPC meeting in Area 12. There was an obnoxious transient in a van on North Street near the school.
I drive around there. I don't really notice a transient staying there all the time.
And then in 13, there was the issue of crossing Broadway Terrace. Everyone else is anything happening with that? What?
We just do enforcement stops every once in a while, but our focus right now is mostly auto burglaries. So whenever we have time, shoot out to the traffic areas. Is it only in the mornings? Because we're not here in the morning.
Yeah,
We do after school too. Is
yeah,
anybody,
I mean,
is
the
anyone
problem,
familiar
like
with
we
it?
said, you know, that at Hermosa and Broadway Terrace, you know, people are rolling through the stop sign.
Right,
and
because the
kids
kids
are
walking to
across
school, yeah.
students. Anyway. So are there other priorities that we want to bring to their attention?
Can I add one for 12Y? Actually, I live in 13X, but I'm a member of the Colombo Club, which is on Claremont, which I think is part of 12Y. We've got a crosswalk that goes between that side of the street and the DMV, and apparently the city has already budgeted a flashing light for that crosswalk. We had somebody hit about 6 weeks ago. So we just want to try to get that prioritized. So
I'm sorry, which
it's the crosswalk between the DMV and the Colombo.
oh, that one,
On
wow,
Claremont.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's not a really police issue, but.
Actually, we are working with our traffic division. We are getting ready to, I believe they ran a ped sting last Thursday is what my understanding from the lieutenant was supposed to have been. I know we have more coming up, especially on, they'll put some undercovers and then they'll track people and then they'll go pull them over down the road for the not stopping for the ped.
But the flashing light, that's
Yeah,
up to.
that's
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 not your-
transportation.
That's the Department of
Okay.
Transportation. But, yeah, that you're, so
So
they
we
are
have
on
more
aware of
coming,
that.
especially on the Thursday, Friday nights that we're asked.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Yeah, I just like to say, on that exact issue, I saw something that almost turned into a violent confrontation the other day between a driver and a pedestrian, and I think maybe the driver had been unsafe in going through the crosswalk, but the pedestrian got really furious, and they ended up standing in the middle of the crosswalk, kind of threatening each other. It was racial on top of that, so I want to second this idea of a stoplight.
Yeah, I know you're not the traffic division, but I was just in Oregon last week, and I think, of course, our flashing lights in the pedestrian zones are better than nothing. But in Oregon, I saw something that was overhead, and of course, it might cost a little more money, but in some of these very difficult crosswalks where people can't see that the pedestrians are coming, I thought that was brilliant. It was just so obvious. Okay, lights are flashing and they're overhead. They're not just on the ground. So it's in Oregon. I don't know if it's something.
They have them in El Cerrito.
Oh, you've seen them also. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
El
thought-
Cerrito Plaza.
Whatever the city of Oakland and their traffic engineering will allow on the Department of Transportation.
I just think in some of these very dicey, like in Montclair, when people go on the farmer's market or over to the playing field, there are a lot of kids and parents, and sometimes people just can't see them because there's a big SUV in front. And whatever it is, it's very obvious when it's overhead.
I would say I do know the time to request all that and continue with it is now, because I know Telegraph, the Upper Telegraph is going to go through all the reconstruction zone. So probably the best time to do it if that's the funding.
Is it, do you address this comment to the traffic division?
That wouldn't go to the Oakland Police Department at all.
Department of Transportation.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's also an app, was it C-Click
C-Click Fix.
That
311.
kind of routes it to the right person according to what the issue is.
Oh, just one more thing on this.
Yes, sir.
With pedestrians. It's very fashionable to dress all in dark colors at night.
Oh, tell me about it.
You know, it's really hard to see these pedestrians.
It is. So, yes, no, the flashing things do help with people that dress all dark clothing don't make things easy.
Makes it slimmer, kind of.
Yeah, I have the hood ornament, so I.
All right, I think that wraps up this segment.
I don't hear any new priorities for either of the beats.
Well, I'm sorry, I was a few minutes late. Just keep on the issue of the broken windows in the parking lot.
Police have been working on that actively. You may have missed Lieutenant Royal's comment.
I'm sorry, I was.
No, we are going to continue operations. We have no plan on, since things are working and our stats are starting to show, we have no desire to slow that up, especially over the summer months.
Thank you.
Yeah, no. The hardest part, like I said, is you just don't see our officers because they're in UC cars. So when you see a whole bunch show up at once, it's because we just observed something and we're coming in. but literally, our whole day today was up in this area. So what we do, because I have several different beats and several different CROs, we continue spreading amongst every single beat evenly, so every single section and community is getting the same exact resource. And they are all kind of being hit with the autobergs. But again, the areas that spike or the other things, that's where Captain Bolton has actually directed the resources of the patrol officers during those times and hours to be in those locations. So I know up here, this is one of the security check areas late at night where the dog watch is supposed to come, drive up and down, do the security checks, look for the possible commercial burglaries. I know Trader Joe's got hit a couple times, so again, that's their big priority. So I do know this. B13, I do know the Montclair is another one, so the 13 card not only supposed to do that, but at night it's also supposed to go up to Skyline and Grizzly Peak. Again, this is if we don't have a bunch of priorities, like anything major going, but if we have downtime, these are the priorities and the directives he has given that those officers need to be at. We are worried about hill fires, so I do know we also have another operation that we're going to be going up near Skyline and stuff for people doing, the illegal smoking, cars parked. Yes, I know it's a beautiful view, but we just don't need a fire, especially as we move into these hot summer months and everything else. So you're gonna lose us for a little bit, a certain day of the week, but the rest of the days we'll continue our ops down in those areas. But we got to get up into the hills a little bit to make sure we don't get a fire.
Yeah, we like to identify priorities that the police aren't aware of, telling them to work on auto burglaries.
Well, I just, as you say, I've written letters to the chief, to Safeway, to both our Senate people, and I don't, it's hard to see any reaction. So, and nobody responds to letters, you just don't know. So I'm glad you're here, thank you.
Oh, no, you're welcome, ma'am.
All right, so next on the agenda, we had David Gomez from the River Law Firm. David? Thank you, folks. Thank you. So,
my name is David Gomez. I'm the neighborhood law corps attorney for this police district and this beat. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the neighborhood law corps. I see a show of hands. See a couple people. But we work on various quality of life issues. I've been there about a month, so I'm still getting my feet under me, but the priorities of our our jurisdiction is housing issues, environmental issues, and quality of life issues in general.
Are you part of the city?
Yeah, with the Oakland City Attorney's Office. Yeah. And so, for example, we bring cases enforcing the tenant protection ordinance. We bring cases to address blight when there's certain properties that are having a bad effect on the community. We try to work and see what we can do as the city attorney. And we also enforce human trafficking issues and environmental cases as well. But I just wanted to give a brief kind of introduction because I think it's been a while since the Neighborhood Law Corps has had a presence at these meetings in this district, but I'm trying to come back and hear from community members what problems they see in their areas and see if there's something that we can do to help address them. We also help just kind of guide the resources of the city. When you come to us and it's something we don't necessarily do, we try to figure out if there's some other place that maybe we can point you in the right direction, and then you can get your concerns addressed there. And another big priority for us is illegal dumping, which is a big problem, as I'm sure you all know. That is something that we do work on, and I left a couple brochures. I didn't expect this many people, so they might all be taken or something, but it tells you basically how you report illegal dumping, and we try to get on those pretty quickly. I just wanted to kind of introduce myself, and yeah.
Ma'am, did you have a question? Karen?
No, I didn't hear a word you said that was fairly important, but I caught it the second time you said it.
All right.
Yeah, there are neighborhood law court brochures on the back table if you're interested.
So yeah, generally our cases revolve around properties. So if there's an issue with property,